Hello students, today we are going to start the second poem of Flamingo, and the name of the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. This is a very beautiful poem, and the main theme of this poem is social injustice and class inequalities. This poem is also an attack on those people who are exploiting the weaker section of the society. So now let's start the poem. The poet is saying, far, far from gusty waves these children faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. First of all, let's see the meaning of the words. Gusty waves. Gusty means stormy, beautiful. Then there is a word torn. Torn means scattered. Pallor means pale faces. The poet is saying, the poet describes the children who study in an elementary school classroom in a slum. The poet says that these children live far, far away from the beautiful sights of nature. And the faces of these children are dull and without any energy. These children are compared with rootless weeds. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. You all know what is the meaning of weeds? Weeds means unwanted plants. So these children are compared to unwanted weeds. Now the here writer wants to say that these children seem to be unwanted like the unwanted weeds. Like weeds are unwanted plants and they grow in the fields. Which are not required by anyone. They are unwanted. In the same way, the poet is saying these children appear to be unwanted in the society. The hair torn round their pallor. Pallor means pale faces. Their hair is not neatly done. It falls on their pale faces, and the children, they are looking very untidy. They have not combed their hair properly. So that's why the poet is saying that these children look like rootless weeds. Then the poet is describing a girl who is very tall and is sitting in the classroom. The tall girl with her weighed down head. There is a tall girl in the classroom and she is keeping her head down. Why she is keeping her head down? It seems as if she is burdened by the poverty, depression, hopelessness. Because of all these things, she is keeping her head down. The paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes. Then there is another boy in the classroom. And the poet has said paper-seeming boy. The poet has compared the boy with a paper, which means that this boy is very weak like a sheet of paper. This boy is very weak and thin like a sheet of paper with rat's eyes. The boy's eyes reflect greed. Have you seen rats? Rats क्या करते हैं? ऐसे लगता है they are always eager to find something. कुछ ना कुछ ढूंढने के लिए उनकी eyes जो होती हैं eager होती हैं बहुत ज़्यादा. So this boy's eyes also reflects greed and he wants to achieve everything. ऐसे लगता है वो सब कुछ पाना चाहता है. ठीक है, जैसे rats की eyes होती है, उसको भी लगता है कि नहीं मुझे ये भी चाहिए, कोई भी चीज़ उसे मिल जाए वो वैसा चाहता है. So the poet has compared the boy's eyes with rat. The stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones reciting a father's banal disease. The poet is saying, then there is another boy who is physically disabled. The stunted, unlucky hair. Stunted means जिसकी growth properly नहीं होती, retarded growth होती है जिसकी. Unlucky hair of twisted bones. This boy is disabled, you can say this boy is physically disabled, and the poet says that this boy is unlucky. Why he is unlucky? Because he has inherited a disease from his father. Unlucky hair of twisted bones. He has inherited a disease of bones from his father, due to which he had a deformed body. reciting a father's genal disease. Like what happened? We inherit property, wealth from our ancestors, from our grandparents, parents. But this boy, instead of receiving any sort of wealth from his father, he has inherited a disease. That is why the poet is saying that this boy is unlucky here. His lessons from his desk. And what is this boy doing? This disabled boy is sitting on his bench and is reciting his lessons. At the back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. Then at the back of the class is very dark, dim, and at the back of the class there is a small boy who is unnoted. Unnoted means not noticed by anyone. Nobody is able to notice that boy because the class is very dark, very dim, and this boy is very sweet and young. The poet could see his eyes which were bright and full of dream. His eyes live in a dream. The poet could see his eyes which were bright and full of dream, and he was not paying any attention in the class. It seemed as if he was rather interested in playing the squirrel's game in the treetop. See, of squirrel's game in treetop other than this. Instead of paying attention in the classroom, this boy is interested in playing in the games with the squirrel in the treetop. So, the poetic devices used in this paragraph is simile, then there is metaphor and repetition. See, when the poet says, like rootless weeds, the poet has compared the faces of these children with rootless weeds. So here the poet has used simile. Next poetic device is metaphor. Metaphor, paper seeming boy. So here the poet has used metaphor. The poet has not used the words like as, ya, like. The poet has said paper seeming boy. So this type of comparison is known as metaphor. So here poet has used metaphor. Then the third poetic device is repetition. The poet has used the word far, use of far, and this word is used to stress distance. So here the poet has used the word far twice. So here the poet has used the poetic device repetition. Now let's move to the next paragraph. And what is the next paragraph? On sour cream walls, donations Shakespeare had, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities. Now see what the poet is saying. The poet describes the walls of the classroom. The poet says that the walls of the classroom are cream in color, like color of sour cream. They are cream in color, like color of sour cream. जैसे sour cream होती है उसका color होता है, वैसे ही इनकी walls का color है. This means that the walls are not clean. If we are saying that the color of the wall is sour cream, that means the walls are not clean. They have not been painted. And these walls are covered with different charts and images. And it appears that those charts or images must have been donated by different people. On sour cream walls, donations. Donation means things given in donation. Things which are given by other people. Shakespeare had. And what are the images there in the classroom? There is a picture of Shakespeare on the wall. Then there is a picture of cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, belt, flowery, Tyrolese valley. There is a picture of Shakespeare on the wall. Then there is a picture of domes of big cities. Then the early morning sky is shown as cloudless in another picture. So there are different pictures in the classroom. Then there is a picture of Tyrolese Valley which has beautiful flowers. Open-handed map. Then there is a picture of map. All these pictures represent the world of rich and prosperous people. Clear? So, the poet is saying, awarding the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog. Now the poet is saying that there is a picture of map, but for these children, the map of the world is not relevant. The map of the world which is there in the classroom, it is not relevant for these children. Why it is not relevant? Because the slum where they live is totally different from what is shown in the map. जहाँ पे वो रहते हैं, वो जो स्लम एरिया है जहाँ पे वो रहते हैं, that slum area is totally different from what is shown in the map. Their world is what they see out of their classroom window. That is only their world, what they see out of their classroom window. That's all. And these pictures have no meaning for these children. Their world does not contain huge domes or prosperity or the scenic beauty. These things are not there in their life. They are devoid of these things. So, their world is, we can say that their world is painted with fog. And which type of fog is this? This fog is of hopelessness and hunger. Where all their future painted with a fog. The poet is saying that their future is painted with a fog of hopelessness, hunger, or you can say disappointment. Clear? Or in other words, you can say that their future is full of darkness. Next, see, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Lead sky means dull sky. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes and stars of words. So what is the poet saying? The poet is saying that their future is full of darkness and their future is compared to a narrow street. किसके साथ कंपैरिजन किया है उसके बच्चों के फ्यूचर का? With a narrow street, which means that there is no wide scope available for their growth. स्ट्रीट इज नैरो, नैरो स्ट्रीट्स होती हैं जिसका क्या मतलब होता है, अंदर जाने की पॉसिबिलिटी थोड़ी कम होती है. सो सेम वे देयर इज नो स्कोप for their growth in these slums. These children are away from the radiant light of knowledge and education. These far, far from river, capes and stars of words. Stars of words means knowledge. These children live far away from the light of, radiant light of knowledge and education. So this is all about this paragraph. Now the poetic device used in this in these lines are metaphor, as walls are described as sour cream. Clear? So here the poet has used metaphor. Then there is a assonance when the poet is saying assonance in the lines belt flowery Tyrolese valley. In this line, the poet has repeated the vowel sound E. Belt, flowery, Tyrolese valley. So here the poet has used these two poetic devices, metaphor and assonance.